Good morning, Oklahoma, and welcome to Cow-Calf Corner. I'm Mark Johnson, and this week's topic is advocacy. Advocacy for our industry, particularly our beef industry, and what does that mean to us? The sharing our story and advocating for the industry that we're a part of. And so we go through just certain facts and realities of 2023 as we think about production agriculture. We have, in the United States, as a result of a free enterprise economy, became so efficient at producing food that as a country, we spend the smallest amount of our disposable income for food of any developed economy on the face of the globe. And we've reached a point that only 2% of our population actually work in production agriculture, or particularly the production of food. So what does that mean? In our communities, 98 of every 100 of us are farther and farther removed from the actual production of their food. If we think back a generation or two ago, there were many more family farms. There was a much larger percentage of our population that was actually directly involved day to day in the production of and just securing their food for themselves and their family. And so we've reached a point in time, I encourage beef producers to consider it part of your business model to actually advocate for your industry. And how do we go about that, and what do we mean when we talk about industry advocacy? Well, three basic things. One is to be willing to share your story. It could be something as simple as being in the checkout line at the grocery store, or maybe walking through the beef retail display cases in the grocery store and striking up a conversation with somebody else, deciding whether they're going to buy a chuck roast or a filet mignon or a strip steak. A little bit of information about how long each of those might need to be cooked and how they're best prepared. Some kind of story about what goes in and where from the beef carcass those cuts actually come from. And that's a means of advocating for your industry. You never know where those conversations might lead to. Other things we can do to get involved is perhaps join our local cattlemen's association, maybe our county cattlemen's association, maybe the Oklahoma Cattlemen's Association. In each case, it puts us in a group of people that work in the same industry and are working for and about this industry that we're all a part of. And there's a lot of positive things that come from that. Interestingly enough, at another website that you see on screen, you can actually earn your master's in beef advocacy by visiting this website that just shares information about beef production, beef producers, and what goes on day to day in our industry. Change is inevitable. If we think back of the 150-year history of beef production in this country, those folks that were on the trail drives in the 1870s, when America acquired a taste for beef, would hardly recognize the modern industry of 2023. We've all got to be willing to adapt and change, and sharing our story and finding opportunities to advocate for this great industry we are in is a part of surviving and sustaining and continuing to meet the consuming public's demand for the product that we produce. If we think about it, we've got a pretty great story to tell. Beef cattle are a shining example of sustainability. If we think of the three components of a grazing system, the soil and the plants and the ruminant animals, beef cattle, that can take something that's high in fiber and we can't digest it as humans, and they can actually upgrade that product to a delicious, nutrient-dense, highly digestible product that is well suited for the digestive system of mankind. It's a pretty interesting story to share and tell. Thanks for joining us this week on Cow-Calf Corner.